Hey, welcome to the first episode of the Subie YOU podcast. My name is Raphael, and I'll be your host as we go through this journey of talking to Subaru owners and their adventures, also talking about their builds. I hope everybody's having a good day. Thank you for stopping by and checking out this episode. I have Jenn on the first episode. You might know her by Ghost XTrek on Instagram. She also is the owner of XTrek Designs. So we will get into where she came up with the names for both of those and talk about her build and also about her business. Give you a little bit of information about me and my car, my Subaru. I have a 2021 base model manual crosstrek, and I had been wanting this car for years. The first time I saw one was back in 2013. It was an orange color, and I really liked the black accents, how they contrasted against the orange color, and just the black accents, period. I mean, it just seemed to like really make the car. So I had been kind of had my eye on one for a really long time, and I knew that I had a Kia Forte before that, hatchback, and I knew that my next car was going to be a Crosstrek, and I finally got to the point where I was able to make it happen, and I'm so glad I did. And within 3 days of owning the car, I decided I wanted to do a podcast because I was getting connected with everybody out there, and I thought that it might be cool to give people a platform to voice their passion for their cars, because all of you are posting on Instagram, you're putting pictures, you're giving little descriptions, some videos here and there, putting your build partners, your sponsors. But I wanted to be able to give you the opportunity to go to expand upon just pictures and some written words, and for people to hear you talk about your cars, which I know you're all very passionate about. So that's why I started this podcast, and I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you can get something from it. Also, want it to be a resource for new people to the community, to the Subaru community. And somebody's wanting to do a specific mod, uh, kind of figure out what brands people like, where you can go to, have certain things installed depending on what city you're in. I know some people have their lift kits and tires and wheels installed by a shop. So, if there's somebody in the area that wants to get one done, that kind of recommendation. And just really just what you enjoy about your car and why you bought one in the first place and what you enjoy about it. So getting back to mine, the first thing that I started doing with mine is putting some decals on it that I bought from Accentrek Designs. And right now, that's really all I'm able to do. I definitely want to do some more things. Want to get a skid plate next, and whatever else I'm able to afford to do. It's not easy. It's not cheap with some of the stuff, but definitely worth it for sure. Um, so I really love my car. I walk away from it every time, and I'm like, man, that thing looks awesome. So yeah, I decided to go with the white because that's what was available in a manual. It wasn't easy to get a hold of mine. I had to go 4.5 hours away. Not me personally, but my salesman had to drive 4.5 hours away to get the car that I wanted, and I'm very thankful for it. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the episode. And you can hear from Jenn talk about her passion for her car and for her business and how she's wanting to help others um, personalize their car. And I hope you enjoy this. And if you're listening to it and you want to be a guest on the podcast, just reach out to me on Instagram. I go by Pearl the Crosstrek, and we'll see about getting you on. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Here we go. I am the understudy, they call me Instant Day. When you fail, I come in and I take it all away. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jen. I am the owner of Ghost X Trek. You'll see on Instagram, I guess. And I am also the owner of the new XTrek Designs, which is custom overlays and decals for Subarus.
Yeah, I know a little bit about those decals since I have a few. I'm very, very thankful for the custom work that you do because I really like them. You did the Texas one for me for my reflectors on my 2021 crosstrek, and you've done the Houston skyline, and then you helped me brand my car with the name Pearl, and then
Yay.
yeah, and then you sent me your a logo for or a decal for your logo, so I've got that on there now too.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I know. It's like, might as well advertise it. And
I
it's funny
appreciate
because
it.
like, how did you end up coming up with the name Ghost X Trek?
Well, I pretty much based it off of the color of the car. I'm so original in that sense. And I pretty much had the ghost theme in mind the entire time. It was either going to be Ghost or it was going to be Casper.
Yeah,
And I was thinking about it. My first car was an '07 VW Beetle named Toby, and I was like, I've done the cutesy. I was like, I
yeah,
want an aggressive, like more my style type of car. And so like Ghost just seemed to fit. And so hence Ghost Trek.
yeah. I really like that because I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, that car looks really cool, and I like the name and I like the logo. So that was really cool. So did you have any other names in mind at all, or was I mean, other than Casper, or was it just gonna be Casper and then it just became Ghost X Trek?
Um, I was trying to think, and I think I had maybe stuff like Apollo or something like it was like all pretty much color themed, and then like Greek gods or something. I was like, okay, let's tone it back a little bit. And
Yeah,
then I was just like, no, Ghost is definitely it. We'll do that.
yeah. It's definitely fitting for the car, for sure. So what is it that influenced your decision to buy a Subaru and then why a Crosstrek?
There were a couple factors. Um, Mainly, I was really sick of driving a small car. I love the Beetle, but I have two dogs and I like to haul stuff. I'm always doing projects at home. So I wanted a bigger vehicle and I wanted something that was safe and reliable because, I mean, before COVID, I was actually driving, 25 minutes each way to work. So I was taking the highway and I just didn't feel comfortable on those roads in the small little Beetle. And so I was ready to upgrade. And beyond that, my husband works at the Indiana Subaru plant, which is the only US based plant.
Oh,
And yeah, so we actually get little incentives for buying Subarus. So I got a little bit of a discount and kickback from that. So that was kind of an extra push because I was looking at like the RAV4. I liked that a lot in terms of looks, but I knew I needed an all-wheel drive car because you know, we can have rough winters here where we get a good amount of snow. Um, so I
yeah,
needed that. But like the RAV4s, like they're expensive and you have to pay extra to get all-wheel drive and I didn't want to spend all that money. I was like the Subaru ticked every box. It was safety, it was the right price, and it looked good, the Crosstrek. And so I was sold. And
yeah,
I do not regret that decision at all.
yeah. And it's nice that they're all wheel drive. You don't have it's not an
Yes.
upgrade, so that definitely is a good benefit to it. So yeah, my I was gonna ask if there were any other ones you were looking at, but yeah, I mean the RAV4s do look nice for sure. But yeah, cost was definitely an issue for me, affordability, and
Hmm.
I bought mine because I wanted the ability to go off road. So I was gonna find places to take it off road,
Yeah.
no matter what it took. So what year is your car, and then what trim level is it?
Mine is a 2020 limited. I got it first thing in January, January 11th to be
Yeah,
exact. I will not forget the date.
yeah, special date.
So, yeah, I got the limited trim because I really wanted those extra perks of like the LED headlights. I
Yeah.
like the leather seats, things like that. That I didn't have some of that stuff in my old car. Like heck, I didn't have anything in my old car except a nice stereo system and seat warmers. So I was like, we're going all in. This is my first vehicle purchase. I'm gonna do this. Let's make it nice.
Yeah.
So it
So
was an easy decision.
when you bought your Crosstrek or even before that, did you have any idea you would be like, "Oh, I wanna add all this stuff to my car and decals and roof racks and all that?" Were you just like, "I just wanna buy this car because it's all-wheel drive and it's bigger and it's safer and I like it?"
Well, it started out just I just need a new vehicle. I need something nice, and it ticked all the boxes. So I thought I would be done with that. But as I was doing more research and diving into Instagram, finding all the awesome builds that are on there, I was like, okay, need to do this, this, this. So I made like a list in my phone, and it started off with like small, cheap mods, all the way up to the big boys, like lift kits and new wheels and everything like that. But I was like, I don't know how to do any of that, so we'll just do decals or something on it, and that's what I thought I was gonna do going in. But as soon as I took that car off the lot, that all changed. Like, no joke.
Yeah. So what was the first thing that you added to your car?
Actually, it was just decals. I added my very first thing were the front, rear, and steering wheel Subaru emblems. I covered those up with black and white ones.
Yeah. And where did you get those?
I actually made them myself. I kinda had in mind I wanted to do everything I could do on my own first,
Okay.
and whatever cheap mods I could do, I wanted to do first. So, yeah, I just made the template myself and started going to town.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. It's nice if you can do things on your own for sure. So are there like mods that you or I guess that you really want that you haven't been able to get yet or do yet?
Um, well, I like to say this, a couple months ago, I was like, "I'm done. I don't need anything else. I'm good." But, I got my lift kit back in what was it? August, I believe, and the new wheels, which is great,
Mhm.
but you gotta finish it off by protecting underneath and getting skid plates. So that would probably be the next thing that I want to get. I've just kind of
Yeah.
held off because I mean they are pricey, and here in Indiana, it's just cornfields. It's like what everyone thinks of it: cornfields, flat land, gravel roads, that's about it. So, it's like there's not a high priority to get it right now, but I'd like to at some point.
Yeah. So when you first bought your car, was there a mod that you were like, okay, beyond decals, was there something where you're like, okay, I have to have this mod and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get this?
Um, I don't know that there was, like, one thing in particular that stood out. Like I said, I had a list. I knew I really wanted to get mud flaps because they're functional, and they look cool, I think.
Yeah.
Um, Another one that was important to me were, like, the wind visors that go on the windows so you can keep the windows cracked without having rain come in, like, that was kind of like a style and functionability type thing that I wanted, but I guess, like, the most important one that I found was probably, like, upgrading my horns 'cause I you've hit the horn on your car before, right?
Yeah.
"Beep."
Yeah.
So that was, like, something I was like, "Okay, I need to be louder on the road."
How loud are because you got the hella horns, correct?
Yep.
So they're pretty loud as far as and they're not as beepy? Beep beep.
Yeah, it kinda deepens the sound, and I honestly couldn't tell you, like, the decibel increase, but you do not wanna be standing in front of it when it goes off, like, pretty sure
Yeah.
when I was testing it, I had, like, my earphone, like, head protection. I was like, I'm not gonna chance it," and it is pretty loud, so I recommend that for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So decals are pretty easy to put on, but like something like the hella horns, how I guess what is the difficulty level of installing those on your own?
Surprisingly, they're not too difficult. It seems like a intimidating thing, especially like to me because I don't have mechanical or engineering or electrical skills.
Hmm.
But essentially, it just comes down to removing the front bumper, which is held on by I think like two bolts and probably like 20 clips or so. You take that off, get a wiring kit, connect it to your battery. Like it was so simple. It was just time consuming because,
Yeah.
you had to take all that stuff off.
And
But
did it come with all the instructions on what you needed to do?
it didn't come with any instructions.
Oh my gosh, really? So how did you figure out what you needed to do?
I looked on the 2018 plus crosstrek Facebook group actually. Some people had posted on there with helpful tips, and I went about that way. But for the most part, it's pretty much common sense about what connects to what. It wasn't like
Yeah.
overwhelming by any means.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I kinda wanna use this platform as a resource for people who wanna do some upgrades, and they're like, "I don't know what to do," I'm not sure where to go or how to do this or if I'm able to do it. So, yeah, that's definitely helpful.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that Facebook group. I can't tell you the full name off the top of my head for whatever reason. I can't remember all the details of that, but I use that page all the time to ask questions. It's a great resource.
So what has been your favorite mod so far?
Um, that's something like that is just another question. It's like, oh man, I love everything that I put on them. That's why I get them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to say that my favorite has been I'm just gonna combine them. Is my lift and my wheels. So I got a 1.5 inch LP Adventure lift kit, and then BFGs and um, LP1 wheels on it, and that just changed the complete look of the vehicle, which is awesome, and some of the capabilities when I go to take it off roading.
Yeah.
So I really like it.
So are you able to, there's no rub or anything with that lift and those wheels and tires in the front?
Yeah, the smaller of the KO2s, so, I don't have that issue at all. I don't even think you have to have a lift kit, honestly, to be able to run those without any issues. Because that was something I
Okay.
didn't wanna mess with. I was like, I bought my mud flaps, I wanna keep them on, I don't wanna have to alter them and take them back off because that's a pain, like so I
Yeah,
just
'cause
went with the smaller ones.
I've seen that where people have said, they added these wheels and tires and lifts or whatever and no rub. So I'm thinking that there's some that they're rubbing a little bit and they had to
Mhm.
like cut some of the fender out. So depending on the size of the tire and the wheel.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, it's usually just when you're, I guess, turning or, like,
Yeah.
all the way, but it was still something, like, I just didn't wanna have to mess with.
Yeah, for sure. So did you have somebody like a repair shop or something install the lift and tires and everything for you?
I went the most expensive route you could go. I
Yeah.
went through the dealership.
Oh, okay.
They cut me a pretty good deal because they were actually, they work with LP Adventure, so, and we had bought 2 Subarus through them recently, so,
Oh, that's
they were
good.
happy to work with us on the price, so it wasn't horrible, but I know there's plenty of people out there that actually, like, know how to install lifts themselves and
Yeah.
say they're not too much, but like I said, I am not mechanically inclined, and I don't have a lift to,
Yeah.
put my vehicle on or anything like that, so I was like, "I'll leave it to the professionals for sure."
So have there been any mods that you decided that you wanted to do and then afterwards you're like, I'm not really crazy about that, and then took it off?
I was trying to think about that. Basically, I guess the only ones that I've done and that I've turned around and taken off are really like decals and overlays. And it's not because I don't like them, it's just because I come up with new ideas and I want to test them out, see what I like best. Like when I was
Yeah.
working on my branding, I was swapping them out like constantly. Um, but there is one I guess that I want to do. Again, it's just an overlay. It's not one I made, but it's like the amber delete on the headlights.
Okay.
and that was one of the first mods I put on, and I did not like the shape of it, and it was hard to install because I had no experience, and it's just, a big piece of vinyl.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look great, but
Yeah.
I kind of plan to make my own at some point, but not here in the middle of winter, that's for sure.
Yeah. So is there a car that you follow on Instagram that's like your favorite?
There's a couple that I've followed either from like before I bought my crosstrek or just lately that I really enjoy. A couple of them are Valitrek,
Yeah.
CT Strady. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing any of these correctly. 4x4 Subie
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
and Gearhead Trek, if you've
Oh
seen
yeah.
hers. Yeah.
Yes, I have.
So
Yeah.
they're all just out there, showing all the different capabilities, that a crosstrek can be, and I love it.
Yeah, I think 4x4 Subi was the first one that I really came across and was like, okay, this is and I think he's the reason that I even started an Instagram page in the first place because I don't really remember exactly how and why I started my Instagram page for my car because it's like it seems like if you tell somebody that doesn't own a Crosstrek or a Subaru because like there's this awesome Subaru community out there, if you tell somebody like, "Oh, I have a Instagram page for my car," they're kind of like, I'm thinking like they're probably going, "Wow, really? You have an Instagram page for your car, you loser?" So,
I know the feeling.
but I think it was 4 by 4 Subi that I found because I saw his YouTube videos first, and then I think I went to Instagram and started following him on my other page, and then started seeing all these other Crosstreks and Subarus that had Instagram pages. So once I bought mine, then I was like, "Hey, I might as well start up a page for my car, why not?"
Yeah.
It seemed like people were having fun with it, so I decided to go ahead and do it. There's some cars that you follow that kind of influence things that you've done on your car?
Um, yeah, a couple of those were like the ones I listed before. But I would say CT Strady was probably the one I followed the closest because I mean he has a white crosstrek. It was like the closest in style to what I was looking for when something with that mean aggressive look that looked like it could just take on anything. And I
Yeah,
like that he had like some color combinations, like his white with the light blue. Like I thought that was so cool because you could do any color scheme, and I just hadn't seen that one, and so I like to follow and see what he did.
yeah. So, um, if you could go anywhere with your car to explore, like off-road well, whether off-road, like in an off-road park or trails or visit another country, is there a certain place where you're like, "I would love to take my car there and just go have some fun?"
Yes. Out west in general is where I wanna be. If
Yeah,
if I could move today, I would.
yeah.
Um, but we're actually planning my husband and I are planning a trip to Utah next
Oh,
summer during a shutdown. So, it's gonna be my longest road trip in general, just
mhm.
driving, being in a car, everything, longest trip for Ghost. But we're gonna go visit like the national parks in Utah, and I'm really excited. I also picked up a nice camera recently, so I'm excited to test out my photography skills out there.
Yeah. So had you done any photography before, or was it just since you bought this car and you're like, I want to play around with this and have some fun with a camera?
I mean, I've always loved taking photos, but I've never owned a nice camera. Like I use my iPhone 11 for everything.
Yeah.
But it was time. I was like, there's certain things that a phone can't capture.
Yeah, that's
So I just bit the bullet and got it because I knew I was gonna be taking pictures of my car nonstop. I'm almost a year in, and that hasn't changed. So, it was just time.
So I'm guessing is it's been a year and you still walk out to your car every day and you're like, "Oh man, I just love this thing."
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
always have to, like, turn around and look, like, one more time.
Yeah. I know. I've only had my car for 3.5 months and I'm still like that. I walk away from it and I turn around and I'm like, man, that looks good. Especially with those eccentric design decals on there now.
I'm glad to hear it.
Little plug there.
That's how you know you bought the right vehicle, though. That's what they always say.
Yeah. I mean, I would have never imagined liking a car so much. I mean, I knew for years that I wanted a crosstrek. I told myself like that's my next car. No matter what I have to do, a crosstrek is the next car I'm going to buy. And now I have one and I'm glad.
It's well worth the wait, wasn't
Oh yeah, definitely.
it?
Is there a place that you've been to with your car so far that is your favorite place to go?
Well, yeah, we didn't do much here in Indiana, like, because I said there's not much around here. We've taken it to an off-road park, which was fun and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
But my favorite place that we've taken it was actually over the summer. We went to Red River Gorge in Kentucky, and it's super mountainy, all forest. Like it's part of the National Boone National Forest, I believe.
Okay.
And it was just absolutely gorgeous out there. There's nothing. Like you're just in the middle of nowhere. But we had a lot of fun with that, and that was the longest trip I had taken the car on.
Yeah, I think I had my car for 3 weeks, and there's a place, north of Houston that I took it to, and I got out there and it was very sandy, and I had just watched, like, maybe a couple of days before, I had just watched 4 by 4 Subie out in some sand dunes getting stuck in the sand, and then he had ended up taking some air out of his tires, but I was thinking about that as I was driving around the sand, I'm like, "I hope I don't get stuck out there." That would suck. I was by myself, no recovery
Oh,
track,
man.
nothing. It's 100% stock, and which it still is, but, yeah, it was a little scary, but it was still fun.
Hey, but you made it through. That's awesome.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I took my son with me, so that was super cool, and we weren't there for very long because it's more of a place for, like, ATVs and stuff and big trucks. I was, like, out there with my tiny little, stock Subaru Crosstrek, and I pulled up to the gate, and I asked the guy, I was like, "So am I, like, just totally crazy for wanting to bring this car out here?" And he's looking down, and he's like, "Well, your tires, probably may not be the best, but, you never know." He said, "Some Mercedes came out here, this all-wheel drive Mercedes came out here and tore it up.
Oh, wow.
So, go ahead. I've been told not to turn anybody away." So I drove out there, and I think we were only out there for, like, maybe 35 minutes or something, and then I drove out, and he was like, "That's it? You're done?" I'm like, "Well, I just kinda wanted to go through and, test it out and see what it was like." So, but it was definitely fun.
Yeah. That sounds really similar to my experience with the off-road park because, um, I just didn't know what to expect, and I didn't wanna push it, for the
Yeah.
first time around. So, we had somebody that turned around and was like, "Oh, you're taking the Subi out there. Nice." And it was a lot of fun. We had the area to ourselves, and we actually,
Oh,
saw a person out there. They were flagging us down. Apparently, they had tipped their ATV and they couldn't get it flipped back over, but he had a winch on it. So we just hooked it up to the front tow hook on the crosstrek, and crosstrek was a great giant paperweight and helped get it flipped back over. So
oh, that's good.
we felt pretty accomplished.
So do you have your little tow hook, like, permanently in the front of your car at that point?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. That's good. Were there any other colors in consideration when you bought your car? And, like, were there any colors that you're like, "I'm definitely not gonna buy that color?"
I think going in, I knew I was gonna get white, which was kind of surprising because anytime I've seen a white car, I've just been like, "Oh, that's what boring people get. Like, you have no personality,
Yeah.
this and that." And but there's just something about it. When I saw all the different ones on Instagram and just what you could do to your crosstrek to make it your own, I was like, "White's the color for me." But if I had to choose another color, it probably would be silver 'cause
Mhm.
I mean, it's similar enough, but it's just a little bit of color. Um, the ultimate color if Subaru would listen to its customers about this, would be a green. Like, I love the Forester green and the green that's on the
Oh,
Outbacks. I
yeah,
would love for them to do the Crosstrek in that color.
yeah.
Like, the new colors, okay. I'm kinda torn about that plasma yellow. It looks cool in
Mhm.
some lighting, other lighting, I think I'd be like, "Okay, I'm sick of this." But,
Yeah,
um, in terms of color, I guess that I wouldn't get, probably orange. I know it's super
really?
popular,
Yeah.
but it's too much for me, too bright. Like, I had an orange bedroom growing up, like, I don't need any more
Yeah,
orange in my life, like, I don't know.
that's yeah, that's
But
funny because the first Crosstrek I ever remember seeing was orange.
mhm.
I was coming back from work, or I was coming back from lunch, at work, and I was coming down the stairwell in the parking garage, and I turn the corner, and I see this orange Crosstrek, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And because I had no idea, I'd never seen one before. This was 2013, which I think was when the first year that they were released in the US was 2013. I think they started selling
Yep.
them at the end of 2012, but it was a 2013 model, if I'm correct. But I saw it and I was like, I saw all the black accents on it. And I think that's what really kind of drew me to it was the orange color, but then also the black accents and how that those how it just looked going together. It just there was just something about it, and I was kind of hooked after that.
I totally agree. I think the contrast that is on the Crosstrek is fantastic, and I think that was a big point for me too, wanting to get that.
Yeah,
It didn't
that's
matter what color you get because 'cause you'd have that contrast.
yeah, that's the
I
word I
like
was
the white and
for.
black combo the best because it's
Exactly.
so bold, I
Me
guess.
too. I've always liked I remember a long time ago seeing a Mustang that was white, and it had black wheels, dark tinted windows, and I just loved that black and white contrast. And so, like, I love the black accents Crosstrek. So, like, for me, like, transmission, so that was, like, the most important thing for me, and then I just wanted the base model, but there was a khaki blue one that was available at a dealership in San Antonio, but there was somebody that was looking at it the day I was talking to my salesman, and he said that the sales manager there said, "If these people don't buy it today, then you can have it," and they ended up buying it. So then they had to go find another one for me, which was, like, 4.5 hours north of Houston at another
Oh,
dealership.
wow.
Yeah, because there's 6 dealerships in Houston, and none of them had manual Crosstreks. So
Wow.
they found this white one, it was available, so my salesman drove up and traded one of their cars for that one up there and drove mine back. But I didn't want black, like, that was one that I wouldn't have just because you couldn't really get that great contrast of those black accents against another color, and then, like, the main color, and then I wouldn't want red because I just hate red cars. I just don't like the way they look. Now, I've seen some of the Crosstreks that are red, and I'm like, "Okay, that doesn't look so bad." And I don't know, maybe it's just because it's a Crosstrek and now I'm part of this community, and now when I see them, 'em, I'm like, "Okay, that actually looks kinda nice." But
Mhm.
for the most part, I've generally not liked red cars.
I don't know how I forgot about the red because I definitely would have put that on my list. I actually do really like red, but it has to be the right shade. Like, I'm not a fire hydrant red type person, and I
Yeah,
like the deeper colors.
same here, yeah, where it's almost kinda, like, closer to maroon, you know,
Yeah.
like a deeper red for sure. Have you found any other Crosstreks or Subarus in or near your community that you've connected with and gone on drives with? Because I see all the time on Instagram, I see, like, all these people getting together and going out on trails, at least, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars and more sometimes, and they get together and they go on these treks.
Yeah, I think that is so cool. But unfortunately, I have not been able to do any of that. Surprisingly, I mean, I live in the city where the Subarus are built. Like, you would think I'd have so many like Subaru friends in general.
Yeah.
But I guess I was like mainly trying to find Crosstrek people nearby, and it was super hard. Like, I see them on the road all the time, but we didn't have a Facebook group for Indiana at all for Crosstreks.
Yeah.
Chicago has its own group, so I joined that. I actually ended up making a Facebook group for the Hoosier Crosstrek Club so
Yeah.
that we could all kind of start getting together and hopefully plan something down the road. But, with COVID happening, it kind of killed any plans you could have made.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you can all be in your individual cars and just drive around.
I mean,
That's
that
it.
is
That's
true,
social distancing.
but it's kind of hard to
Oh, I
initially meet people,
yeah, you don't
when
wanna
you
just,
can't get
like
out.
exactly, you don't wanna just pull up and beep, beep, hi. You wanna be able to get out and talk to people and stuff. No, I know how that
Right.
so I guess we can switch gears a little bit and talk about your small business that you have because you, you're the owner of Eccentric Designs, and so what is it that made you decide to start doing these decals, and then, like, what is your goal with it?
Well, the passion started with my crosstrek on my own. I started making all the decals I could think of for my vehicle because it was something I was capable of doing and enjoyed. I noticed that there at the time wasn't a lot of choices out there. And it's like a lot of the same products, which they look great, but if you're like me, you want to be a little bit more unique on the road and kind of have
Yeah,
your own little flair. So I was making a bunch of designs, swapping them out, just doing my Instagram thing on my personal page. And I would occasionally have people reach out and, ask where something was from. And I would tell them, oh, I actually make that. And, you know, here and there, I'd have people buy stuff from me. And then it took off a little more, and I decided to go ahead and just make an Instagram for it because I just kinda wanted to, show off. If people had photos that they were taking, I wanted to share them there.
yeah,
And after that, it was kinda like, I had people across the entire Subaru community reaching out like, "Okay, we see all the Crosstrek stuff, like, where's the Forester?" And it became a much bigger thing.
so do you do decals for all, models of Subarus?
I'm working on it. I originally just started with the 2018 Crosstrek because that's the generation that I own is the 2018 plus.
Yeah,
And I was like, I can test all this stuff on my own. And then my dad got a Forester, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, I can at least do some designs that way. And I just kept having more and more people were like, okay, where's the Outback? Where's the Impreza? And I'm like, okay, well,
yeah.
let me put together a game plan and through some amazing people in the community who were product testers, we were able to actually come up with designs that can be used on both generations of Crosstreks, Impreza hatchbacks, Foresters, and Outbacks. So, I mean, going forward, the plan is to have like the WRX on there and the Ascent, pretty much anything from 2010 up, I would love to have on there to give people an option. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm working towards.
that's good. Yeah, that way, people don't feel left out, but I know you have to get started somewhere, and it's not like you can just overnight have decals for every vehicle, and I'm
Right.
sure you've got dimensions that you have to kind of, get a hold of so that you're making sure that you're doing the decals the right size.
Right. It's like I wish I had a buddy at like my local dealership because I'm like, if I had access to these vehicles, that would be fantastic because otherwise it's just a strategy of what you can get a hold of and who's willing to help you. Like it's a very community driven business. And I love that that's the way it is. But it does take some time to get out there and get more products for more
When did you
people.
when did you kind of officially launch the business?
I launched it in the beginning of May of this year.
Okay.
Um, I I didn't have a business name at the time. I was just going by I think it was like Crosstrek Custom Designs, like, that's what I would put on the invoice I'd send people, and because I was just like, I wanted to do it because it was fun. I wanted to give people the opportunity to get whatever they wanted made, and then I kinda sat down and I thought about it more. I was like, "Okay, do I wanna make this a little more legit and try out Etsy because I had never done anything like that.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started to formulate the brand Eccentric Designs.
So how did you come up with the name for it?
So I love a good play on words.
Mhm.
And so I kind of mixed together, the word accent and then, trek, which can either mean cross trek or, an adventure of some sort. Combine those together was eccentric, but it also sounds like the word eccentric with an E, which just
Uh-huh.
means kind of out there, unique, kind of doing their own thing. And so I was like, bingo, that's it. Like, that's the name.
Yeah. No, that's a good name. It's very catchy, and I like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so did you have your own printer for like, how did you go about when you first started doing stuff for yourself? I mean, you obviously have to have vinyl, and then you have to have something to print it on, and then you have to be able to design it. So how did all that kind of come together for you?
Well, I had already had some vinyl because I had been working on stuff on my own, and I have a cutter um, that does all the cutting for the vinyl. Luckily, as a full-time graphic designer for a small company, I have access to the design program. So I would build my design, put it into the program that my cutter reads, and feed the vinyl in, and that's how I do my products.
Nice. Yeah, that works out well. And you obviously do custom decals, as I've seen, because that's how I found out about, or that's kinda how I came up with the idea of asking you to do one with the outline of Texas, because I saw somebody else that was, you had posted on your page, and it looked like the outline of another state or something, and I was just like, "I wonder if she can do Texas," and that's when I reached out to you, and sure enough, now I have my Texas decals on.
Yeah.
I was very intimidated by putting them on because it was, like, squirted with, like, 5%, water and or 5% soap and water, and then, rub it on the back a little bit, and then you can move it around. I'm like, "Man, that sounds like I might mess it up." But once I actually did it, it was so easy, and it was really, it was easy to get them on, and getting that little squeegee definitely helped.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and then, they're very sturdy because 'cause I've taken it through a car wash that has brushes twice now, and they hold up.
Shame
So
on you. I'm just
I
kidding.
know. I was scared. I was like, "Oh, crap," because I thought it was one of those things where it was kinda like a one-way thing where you drive through, and it's like once you're through there, you're kind of committed, and
Mhm.
I thought it was a touchless car wash, and I was like, "Oh, no, this is not a touchless car wash. This may not end well." So but no, they held up really well, and I've done it twice now. So
Good.
I don't plan to do that, but I when I was going through there, they were having issues with their credit card machine, and it charged me twice. So they ended up giving me a voucher to come back, for, like, an upgraded car wash, so I'm like, "I might as well go back." So,
Right.
yeah. So but from now on, I'll try to wash it on my own.
I'm only giving you a hard time. I always
I
used to
know.
run my car my Beetle, I barely ever washed it, to be honest. Like, I was not a car person, but the Crosstrek is a whole 'nother story. Hand washing it and treating it
Yeah,
like a little baby.
yeah, definitely. So, what has been your most popular decal or decals that people have ordered?
I would say the Crosstrek products in general for the 2018 and current are the most popular, um, since I guess that's what I started with. And the main one that sells, I guess, is the forest rear reflector overlays. So, like your
Yeah,
Texas ones, it's just the forest design. Those are very popular. And then surprisingly, Subaru stripes have been a very popular thing lately.
yeah,
So the fender hash stripes like that I have on Ghost, you can get those in all sorts of colors, and I see them all over from Crosstreks to Ascents. Like it's so cool. Like that's no
yeah.
longer just a Dodge or Ford thing. It's like anyone can do it. If you want your car to look sporty, put them on there.
Yeah, I know. I was driving, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I saw a Dodge, Challenger, and I was like, "Wait a minute. I never really, like, paid attention to those until now," you
Yeah.
know? So what is that kind of where the idea came from? Is like I want to give it a little sporty look and did those decals?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I had saw a friend had done it on Instagram and on her Forester, and I was like, "Oh, that's really neat." And I ended up just making my own just on a whim. Just thought, let's just slap these on here, see how they look, and I fell in love because I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize the front end was missing something," and it's just add a little more character and that sporty side that I was really wanting, I guess.
Yeah, and because I was thinking about them for my car because I think that would look cool. And then you said something about the pinstripe on my car. You noticed that I have a pinstripe, and I was thinking, I don't know that those would look that great with the pinstripe. They would kind of contrast with it. So
I don't know.
I know that when I talked to the salesman at the dealership, he said that you can pull that pinstripe off as long as it hasn't been on there for too terribly long. But he said sometimes when they do the pinstriping, it ends up coming off eventually anyway. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know you had it on there until I saw one of your pictures where it had the close up of like the back end of it.
mhm.
So I'm gonna have to look at more pictures and take
Yeah,
a closer look.
yeah. So I don't know because he said that's not a common thing that they do. He said it was kind of rare that they put that pinstripe on there.
Yeah, I honestly have never seen that on a crosstrek. I know people who have wanted to do it, but yeah, I've just never seen it on there.
So are you other than doing more or decals and expanding the product line for different Subaru vehicles, do you have anything in like that you've been thinking about like different products other than just decals?
Um, I think for the most part, I probably will just stick with decals. It's something I'm comfortable doing and enjoy. I feel like I have limitless ideas when it comes to it, but um, I made on a whim those Ghost Trek pins, the little soft enamel ones.
Yeah.
I made that design and went through a company that actually like made them, and that was just like a fun little new thing to put on there. But I don't know. I haven't really thought of anything else that I really am passionate about making and selling that's
Yeah.
related to Subarus.
So do you have some ideas floating around of new decals that you want to play around with?
Um, I guess my main focus still right now is just getting, the nature series that I have with the forest, the desert, and the ocean,
Hmm.
and getting those across all the different product lines.
Okay.
But I really want to focus more on like modern designs, like for people who aren't necessarily like into the nature scene, that are more of like a street driver that, wants something like that. So I'm kind of thinking of new ideas because I have a few designs for the Impreza and the first gen Crosstrek that are more of like the modern theme.
Hmm.
But I want to expand that to the other lines as well.
Or like if somebody lives in a big city and it's really flat and there aren't any mountains and they just want like a skyline of their city, or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
and I've thought about things like that too.
Yeah.
They're all good ideas. I guess one thing that I have been telling a few people that I do want to work on selling at some point would be, you remember I had said earlier that I was gonna replace my amber delete that is on my
Yeah.
headlights. That's something I wanna offer because it's like one of those mods it's intimidating. It's kinda like you said with the rear reflectors at first. It's like, "Okay, I gotta do this, gotta do that just right." But it's, like, almost even more complicated because it's twice or 3 times the size of
Yeah.
a reflector. So I've been thinking of new ways to like simplify that process and make it easier so somebody who isn't familiar with working with vinyl can do it and feel confident about doing it. Because I mean, that's a huge part of my company. Like I want any person to be able to feel comfortable installing these products. I don't want you to feel like you have to go buy this and then go take it to a shop to install it. Like
Yeah.
to me, that defeats the purpose. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much I
Yeah.
wanna be able to make it simple for people.
Well, and being able to do something on their own makes it a lot more enjoyable too, and then they feel more part of their car if it's something they can like, "I put my hands into this, and I put my hands on it, and I put it on my car. I didn't have to rely on
Exactly.
somebody else doing it." So, yeah, I really like that concept. Do you have any customers that have bought, like, the most decals from you, or is it kinda spread out through your whole customer base?
I have a couple people who have actually, been there from the beginning. I have a good buddy. I'll give him a little shout out, crosstrek Matt.
Mm,
Um, he was there before Accentrek Designs became a thing, and he's continued to be an awesome support. Anytime I come up with something new, he wants to check it out. And I just have a couple friends that are like that who have, found out about the business and have supported it throughout its entirety of, its entire 7 months of existence. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really awesome feeling.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. So what did do you have a favorite decal that you've put on your car?
Oh yeah. My logo, my Ghost Trek logo is hands down my favorite design. Just
Yeah.
because it's 100% unique to my vehicle. Um, I have it in like, let's say, like 10 different spots on my vehicle, and my husband's like, "You need to chill out, like, that's a little obsessive." I was like, "But it's awesome."
Yeah,
I got it on a
yeah,
water bottle, I got it on a face mask, like
yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Uh, so I know you had a different design for your logo or before the Ghost before that. Did you have any other ones, or was it just the 2?
I just had the Mario Boo on there, but I was very conflicted about that because, as a graphic designer, I shouldn't ever be having copyrighted material on my vehicle that
Yeah,
I don't own, and it
yeah,
finally got to me as, like, because before it was just me. It was my vehicle, me driving around, but once it gained more popularity on Instagram, then I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's time to make it something my own," and I wanted to do that. Um, so it was just those 2 designs that I've had.
no, okay. Do you have, other plans for the business besides just coming up with new decals and, um expanding to different vehicles? Because I know you have the Etsy shop. Are you planning to expand that into something else?
The Etsy shop will, uh, stay as is. I just recently rebranded everything on it, but I'm actually working on developing an official website for the company. That way, it's easier to tie everything together because I like promoting through Instagram, and I'd like to promote through Facebook, but with Etsy, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do because if you try to do it, it's like, "Oh, you don't own Etsy." Well, I'm like, "Well, of course I don't own Etsy."
Yeah.
But, so I've just been working on actually making an official website where, there's better explanations, things that, I can't do on Etsy, I wanna
Mhm.
do on this website. A lot more detail, a lot more hands-on, like, FAQs, shout outs to my product testers who have been there to make this a realization, shout out to my brand reps, a whole system for, making requests for custom stuff.
Yeah.
So that's my big project right now is getting that live, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to have it live by the first of the new year.
And then once you set up that website and get that live, will you still have the Etsy shop, or will everything purchases and everything go through the website?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the Etsy shop. I think there's still, plenty of people that only stumble across the business because they're, searching in crosstrek accessories on Etsy. So
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a benefit to just leaving it on there.
But people will be able to purchase through your website, correct?
Yep. They'll be
Okay.
able to purchase through either.
Okay. That's good. So where can people can find you in your Etsy shop on Instagram and Facebook? Is that it, or do you have a Twitter account, or is it just those 3?
I don't do the Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither.
So, yeah, it's mainly Instagram. Facebook presence isn't much, to be honest, but I'm on there. Um, Instagram and Etsy are where you'll find everything right now.
Okay. And I guess Instagram is probably the best way to kind of get in contact with you if somebody has some custom needs or just wants a decal.
Yeah, either way, honestly,
That or
I'm responsive on both of those. I'm
okay.
always checking them.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you for being on the very first Subaru and You podcast.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much for having me. It's been quite the honor, that's for sure.
yeah, well, I mean, we kind of had like a little rapport going and everything. And I enjoy, purchasing your decals and very, very thankful for you doing custom decals because that's huge. Because if somebody's like, oh, well, she has these decals, but I don't really like any of these, like they don't really call to me and I don't really associate with those. So for me, being a native Texan, getting the Texas decals was super cool. And then having the Houston skyline, because I was saw so many people that had like a mountain range on the back of their car. I'm like, I don't live anywhere near mountains. So it would be,
Right.
I love mountains. Like mountains are my favorite thing ever in the world. But it doesn't do me any good to have mountains on my car because I don't live anywhere near mountains. So
Yeah, well, I'm glad that I'm able to help you out with that. I mean, that's the whole reason I do it is to help others personalize their vehicle in whatever way they want to.
yeah, well, it's cool. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope that a lot of people will hear this, and you get some more business from it, and just the people that already follow you will enjoy it, and like what they hear and kind of get to know about you a little bit more than they already do. So, which was kind of the purpose of doing this podcast is
Well, thank
to
you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for that opportunity. And like I said, I'm excited to share this whole new podcast. Like that's a whole new adventure. And I'm glad that our passions kind of work to come together to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I started off when I started doing my other podcast, I was super passionate about it, and I still am. And then as soon as I bought my crosstrek, like I said, within like 3 days, I'm like, I want to do another podcast because I enjoy doing the podcast and I enjoyed having my car within 3 days. I was just like, man, I love this thing and I think there's something there. So, yeah, super cool. Very, very honored to have you as my first guest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we did it. The first episode of the Subaru and You podcast. Thanks for listening in. Click the subscribe button and also share it with others and come back for more episodes because there will be more. So, hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope this year, 2021, is going to be better for everyone around the world. So, reach out to people if they're still struggling and, let them know it's going to be okay and help them out if you can. So, anyway, I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.